I did it again. Boom, just like that. It's Thursday night, and you know what that means. It's party time with us. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, and that man sitting beside me, he's the man with the angelic voice. He is Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
All right, Munson, I'm happy because it's Thursday. I'm happy that I'm sitting here with you, and I'm happy to talk about some international wrestling this week, some stuff that's current, a company that runs today down in our favorite other country, New Zealand. Isn't this going to be a good time?
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. We love New Zealand, and we love talking about the wrestlers coming out of New Zealand as well, too, as people start to pour on into the live stream. If this is your very first time joining the Video Bros, we are the commentary team for Prairie Pro Wrestling out of Saskatoon, and we come at you with indie wrestling talk. We come at you with fun, interactive games, and we bring you a history of pro wrestling. Papa Smokes, why don't you hit the people up? Tell them next Thursday what the trip through the territories is bringing us.
Oh, our favorite series of them all, Munson, Trip Through the Territories. We're taking a little trip through all the old territories from around the U.S. and Canada at this point. Next week, one of the more modern ones towards the later part of the 80s and early 90s, Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I'm excited for this one. I've been watching some matches already, launching into my research a little bit. This is going to be a fun one.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait for it. Make sure to tune in next Thursday night for that, as we have a few new people in the chat here. Pop Smokes, Max Power coming in saying it's party time to the max. He's obviously must have watched the show. Warren Zimmerman saying just dropping by. Have a great live show. Thank you, Warren. Thank you for stopping by, leaving us a comment. Adine Sully saying no James Shaw with you guys tonight. Well, yeah. But I think about it, maybe we should have asked him to come join us here tonight, Papa Smokes. I dropped the ball on that one, I think.
Well, absolutely anytime for James. We've worked with him a couple times on here, and he has an open invitation. So, yeah, let's do that again in the future.
You bet. Andre C. joining us in the house. Papa Smokes, Papa Smokes, Papa Smokes, and Bobby. You got the and Bobby in there. Appreciate it, buddy. Andre always joining me on Sundays here on the channel doing Point of View. But, yeah, it's...
Hey, speaking of which, Munson, can I interject slightly here? Yeah. Speaking of Point of View, you'll have to be talking about the NHL playoffs on Sunday. And what about the miracle in Winnipeg this past Sunday? I know you at least watched it or heard about it afterwards. Was that some insanity or what?
That was something else. Like, that was a miracle on ice right there, Papa Smokes. You must have been grinding your teeth. And, of course, everybody bet against them on Point of View, except for me. I stood up for the Jets on that night and said, Papa Smokes is a Jets fan. I got no skin in this game, so I'm backing the Winnipeg Jets to go on. They went on, they did. Maybe they're going to be the magical story throughout this thing, Papa Smokes. Maybe, just maybe, the Jets will make it all the way to that final.
I'd like that. However, I feel like they're rather limping into the second round. Very tired, very beat up. St. Louis Blues played an awesome series against us and beat the living hell out of the Winnipeg Jets. So it's going to be tough, but hey, we're faithful and we're going to stand behind them all the way. Hopefully all the way.
You bet. And you can learn more about that this coming Sunday on Point of View. Join us at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We got Basser up in the house. Papa loving the haircut. How are you, handsome devils, doing this evening? Well, we're doing phenomenal, especially with you here now, Basser. Appreciate you being here. We just got done calling another one of the PPW matches. In fact, we're getting caught up, Papa Smokes. These PPW releases are starting to really stack up and getting close to being caught up to real time here. In fact, we will in a few weeks be bringing the fans the latest set of tapings to the PPW YouTube channel. It is absolutely wild. Andre making claims to the final will be Edmonton versus Florida in a rematch of last year. It is entirely possible.
Maybe.
Yeah. But good. Is it going to be a repeat of last year, too, where Edmonton couldn't quite get the job done in the end, Andre? Got to ask yourself that question as well, too. More that we'll talk about this coming Sunday. But, yeah, Papa Smokes, why don't we talk a little bit about our friends on the edge of the world? Let's talk about our friends from New Zealand. IPW Grave Consequences. This one took place back in October of last year. Just hit their YouTube channel. Make sure to go check out the YouTube channel of IPW New Zealand. I will pop that up in the chat here shortly for you all as we're getting geared up to talk about it. But Papa Smokes, I know you're the kind of guy that likes to talk about the arena, talk about the city, talk about all that great things. Tell them, where did this one take place and what building it was at too?
You know me so well by now, Munson. Yeah, this is fun because when we do reviews of companies in different countries, I like to learn a little bit about the country. This took place in Auckland, New Zealand, which is the capital. It's got a population of just under 2 million, two major harbors. Auckland is on the north side of the North Island of New Zealand. It's got a park that has been built around an extinct volcano. That's pretty cool. And Auckland is New Zealand's most populous city. So this is green grass for these guys. I'm sure they've done a million gigs in Auckland, New Zealand before, and I'm sure it runs several companies regularly. This show was held at the Mount Albert War Memorial Hall, which is not so big. It has a capacity of 270. And what did you think of how this building looked inside? You could see the one wall was all windows, so it had a whole bunch of nice natural light coming in. The first matches on the card more well lit by natural light, and then the the later ones towards the main event just under the lights there. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, because I wondered that at first. I was kind of curious about what time of the day they were sitting at when the card kicked off and everything. But I mean, clearly, probably towards the regular time of a start card, early evening kind of thing, 6-7 o'clock. And then as you saw, as it got darker, it became more notable that was clearly the case, kind of thing. So yeah, it looked good. I like it. I mean, I think it's a lot of fun. I think the setup's great. IPW do a really nice job. Commentary's great, especially with David Dunn there. David Dunn doing double duty, friend of the channel. He was on here when we did the history of New Zealand. He was doing double duty. He has both the commentator and the general manager. More on that in just a few moments. But this crowd was raucous too, Pops folks. Like comparison even to the last card we watched from IPW, this crowd was more noisy. You could hear a lot more of the verbal stabs they were taking at specific wrestlers throughout the night. It became very entertaining. I mean, man, the New Zealand people have quite the sense of humor. I got to say that. I think we would have a hell of a time fitting in like perfectly, drinking beer and having fun with the people of New Zealand. I think Pop spoke.
I got to totally agree with that. And just like a couple of those SPW crowds we watched, you could hear the action from the crowd and some of that jeering and some of that cheering coming out of them, and warms my heart, Munson. My favorite sound is a wrestling crowd that's engaged with what's going on in the ring. Reminded me a little bit of PPW, but these guys are wild too, man. Oh, good time.
Oh yeah, and that energy picked up throughout the night. I was digging the energy coming out of this one. Andre C saying New Zealand is also the home of NJPW Tamahashi, promotion and school run by Bad Luck Folly. And I mean, there's a lot of great coming out of New Zealand. So a big shout out to everybody out there that continues to be putting on the great shows, the great work that they are doing. But let's run down this card for everybody in the chat. Remember to keep that chat active, ask questions along the way. We're happy to fill in that for you. And again, if you're watching this on replay and you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and leave those comments. Always looking to get back to you. IPW Grave Consequences opens up with our boy Papa Smokes, the Divine Light, James Shaw, taking on Ringo Ryan. I don't recall if we've seen Ringo Ryan. I don't remember seeing Ringo Ryan last time out. So I'm thinking that this was the very first time that we saw him. Interesting to go with a couple of the big boys to start things off on the card as well, too. We're used to seeing high energy level matchups, but they didn't disappoint in being a couple of big boys. They lit it up very, very nicely and had that crowd really high energy in the first opening bits. James Shaw controls a crowd like nobody's business. The way he interacts and gets under their skin and the way they go back at him is just brilliant throughout this entire thing. James is looking ever more dominant every time he steps into the ring as well, too. He sharpens up each time, which is fantastic to see. Again, it was mentioned that David Dunn saying on commentary that he's punishing James Shaw. James Shaw tonight working for free due to the action that he has done as of late, and that he's also planning to not have him around later on. We're going to talk more about that, but the match itself, Bob spoke, not a bad way to start things off. It ended up making a whole hell of a lot of sense with the flow of this entire card.
For sure. You put it very well, too. Half my notes on this match are to do with James Shaw's excellent crowd work. What a great heel he is, and what a burn to him it must be to work for free. I mean, that's James Shaw's nightmare right there. He's always trying to squeeze an extra penny out of everybody. He's always trying to find a way to sneak in there and slide in there and steal somebody else's money or steal somebody else's opportunity. So for him to work for free, boy, he was pissed off with James Dunn, but work he did. And Shaw is such an excellent overall worker. Also a good buddy of our show, of course, but can't help but admire his skill as a ring worker. And I'm not just talking about doing the moves, doing the wrestling moves inside the ring, which he does very well, but that crowd work, that heel work is so important. And he's such a slimy, nefarious bastard that he does it so well. And I think it's starting to become, with the crowd, a little bit of love to hate him, because he's so good at it that I think people are starting to go past just pure hate for him and starting to think like an MJF situation. He's so good at this. I can't help but admire him.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you 100%, Papa Spokes. What I don't agree with is STG. I think that they temporarily blocked this message from coming in. I'm pretty sure that we have the words El Asesino blocked to have to get approved, but I thought I'd bring it up anyway, I guess. Here to ask the PPW Championship Committee to give El Asesino his title shot. Well, you know what? I will note that. We'll pass that along, and we'll see if El Asesino gets that title shot ever. Boo, Asesino. Anyway, moving on from there.
Munson, maybe somebody close around here has a little say in the championship committee. Of maybe that's true, Munson.
Who has that, Papa Spokes? I'm kind of curious about this.
Maybe somebody closer than you think.
Well, we'll see what ends up happening with the PPW Championship picture when we get back to live action. Of course, you can always catch PPW every Saturday afternoon on the Pro Wrestling YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us, though, STG. Happy to have you here. But after this matchup, so Shaw ends up winning via tap out in this. Great way to open things up.
Yeah.
Ryan did a nice job. Post-match, he says he's going to be involved in the main event. He's going to be there for the main event matchup itself. And David Dunn has had enough. Comes on down. He gets in there and he lays down the law with Shaw. He tells him that will not be happening. You just work for free and you can remove yourself from the building. The New Zealand crowd now starts doing the na, hey, goodbye to Shaw. Brilliantly done. All of this was just absolutely loved it. This whole segment worked for me. It works because of the people involved and the way they're handling it and the way James Shaw is used in a main event picture here. And we're going to find out more about that not only later in this card, but coming up on other cards down the road as well, too. Not to spoil to anything in the future, but James Shaw will be heavily involved in the upcoming title match. We'll talk about that announcement later on this one.
Then clever to put him in the opening segment just to kind of like space it out a little bit. Also to have a veteran, at least one. Did they not say that Ringo Ryan had been in NXT UK for a bit? So maybe he's got a little zazz around him, too. But once again, as we always talk about the opening match, depending on your booking style or how you like to lay out a card, I think it's a great idea to put a nice lively match in first, capture the crowd, capture their imagination and their enthusiasm, and then go on from there.
Yeah, you bet. And I think he did work a couple of matches for NXT UK. It is under his cage match so that he did work a couple of there. So he does, again, have that experience, right? Like he's gone,
Yep.
he's from London, UK, so he's gone out and done these things and got a little bit that flair coming in. Great to work with one of your top guys at the same time. You got a guy who's world traveled and everything in Ringo Ryan, and you've got one of the top people in New Zealand in James Shaw. So I think that all of that works in the matchup sense. David Dunn's fantastic on the stick and the way he handles himself and in a GM's decision. I mean, his decision isn't unruling or taking away from anything. It's the perfect way to handle a heel situation in this case with James Shaw. And again, we'll see how that pans out later in the night as well, too, as we get towards the big announcement at the top of this card. So up next, we've got the Warner Cup match. We've got, again, I'm going to get this, Tane Tukaha. I got it right. I know I got it right. Tane Tukaha, the Warner Cup champion. He is going to be taking on Jay Rilla. And for those who haven't heard us talk about Jay Rilla, you haven't seen Jay Rilla, Jay Rilla is not human, Papa's folks. This is one giant mountain of an individual. He is big and he looks unstoppable, and they have been smashing him over in a way that has made him look unstoppable. He's got the manager there at ringside, the hype guy getting the fans behind him all the time, the Jay, and he comes out. He doesn't need to do a whole lot because he looks like a guy who's going to hurt you with the least amount of moves that he ever needs to do. It works. My only question is, how long does it work for? When do we have to get to competitive with Jay Rilla, and what will Jay Rilla bring to the table once we get to that? I'm not saying he can't. I'm curious, how much of it are they holding back until that time? When are we going to get that time where we're like, holy shit, this guy is bringing it to the table?
Yeah, very much a good question. And from what we've seen of Jay Rilla, he's got the look. The fans like him. He looks like an absolute killer and a crusher. He's like what's that guy on Raw that does the tsunami off the top rope? He looks like that guy. He's even taller and he's super huge. What's that guy's name, Munson?
Oh, geez, why is it slipping my mind? Chat, help us out. Bronson Reed. Gee, yeah.
Bronson Reed. Yeah. I like him a whole bunch, and that's kind of what this guy reminds me of. He's a little less mobile and all that, hence the short matches. This was a 2-minute match or something, but when you got a guy this size, do you need longer than 2 minutes? He hit that hollow earth spine buster is what he calls it. And I mean, you're flat. You're flat as a pancake if you're taking that move. Even if Jay Rilla does it nicely, you're a flat pancake after that, and you're getting pinned. So, new Warner Cup title holder now, Jay Rilla. So the push continues, somewhat a Goldberg-like push where he's squashing guys fast. One of my questions is, can he do a longer match than that? I'm sure he can. Can he do a good match longer than that? We'll see. But I'm interested to watch. This is going to be one of those pushes that he'll look unstoppable till somebody can stop him.
That's right. And before we talk a little bit more on that, Astrid joining us in the chat. Hey, Astrid, thank you for joining the Video Bros here on Ring Respect Radio here tonight. We do want to mention our answer to all these questions might be coming up very shortly, Papa Smokes, in the form of who came out. Somebody we're very familiar with after this. We saw the big man, Jamie Tagatahasi. Man, that's a tongue twister. But man, we know how good this guy is in the ring, how intimidating he is. This might be the perfect opponent to put in there with Jay Rilla to show a more competitive Jay Rilla matchup. Again, this is, a very experienced individual that you could put in there that's handled big men before, and he's got the size to back himself up. I'm sure he could go toe-to-toe. I think this would be a great decision to have these two going for the Warner Cup. And again, another mention too, the Warner Cup, whoever holds it until a certain date, I can't remember what that date was, then we'll get a championship shot. They get a shot at the main belt. So holding the Warner Cup has a very significant meaning behind it as well too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Jamie Takatasi coming out to challenge him is like Clash of the Titans here. You know, we've covered a number of Jamie's matches with various promotions across New Zealand, and this is one of my favorites. He's always been a babyface since I've seen. He's a He's huge. He's physically imposing. He's a cool looking guy, and the crowd always likes him. Uh, you mentioned his experience, but also in all the matches we've ever seen him appear in, except for this one, I suppose he wasn't wrestling in this one, but he's a main eventer. He can handle those big matches, and he's always near the top of the card, partly because his presentation is so awesome, and he can handle the real ass kicking aspect of the ring work as well. His work looks nice and stiff. He doesn't do too much crowd work or anything like that. He doesn't need to. They love him right off the bat. So Jamie Takatasi coming out to challenge Jay Rilla. Oh yeah, this ups the stakes a whole bunch. They're gonna put the two big guys against each other, the Great Ape against Jamie, and oh boy, this is gonna be a clash. So you know that when this match happens, they're gonna make a big deal of it at one of the next cards. Might not be the actual main event, but it'll be further up on the card than this is right here.
Yeah, 100%. Can't wait to see what they go with on that one. Up next, folks, we've got one of the slimiest individuals in New Zealand professional wrestling.
Yeah,
Will Stone in a matchup against Amber Saint. It is very clear who is the unloved one in this situation. Will Stone manages to get under everybody's skin, and he doesn't have to do a damn thing. He does do things, but there's just something about him, an arrogance about him. The second he walks out, you look at him and you're like, whoever is fighting you tonight, I hope they beat the piss out of you because I don't like you. And it's not like I don't like you, he's no good in the ring, or I don't like his work. It's I don't like you because somehow you have made me not like you. And that is the sign of a good heel. And for that reason, I enjoy Will Stone in a love to hate him sort of situation.
Yeah, very much so. And already in this show, we've talked about great crowd work. Here's some more from a heel in the third match on the card. This is great experience for the younger guys. Will Stone looks like he's in his mid-20s or something like that. He's got lots of miles to go, but he gets it. He's got the hang of it. And boy, did he have those ringside fans pissed right off.
Yeah.
So that's so effective. And this was cool because it wasn't a very long match. They got to the point. Amber Saint comes out. As much as Will Stone is hated, she's extremely popular.
Mm-hmm.
And she has the whole look too. She had a nice striped Beetlejuice outfit and the white painted face and everything. She's always got kind of a goth look going on, and very, very popular among the crowd. And it didn't take long for this match to come to its conclusion either.
I do want to mention too, I think it was I apologize to the other commentary. I didn't jot his name down, didn't quite catch it, but the one work it was done there, he was trying to make a joke about saying Amber Saint's name 3 times or whatever, kind of like when you say Beetlejuice 3 times because she's wearing the Beetlejuice attire, and he kept slipping on it, and he made fun of the fact that he couldn't quite get there. He's like, I try to make a joke about saying the name 3 times that I can't even get the joke out. He goes, the irony of it. And then David Dunn, I love how he picks up the baton and runs with it after that with his comment of, well, it's probably for the best bit that you didn't say it 3 times. We don't want to summon the netherworld. And I'm like, man, they're pop culture reference on point, David Dunn. Nice touch on that.
Yeah, and wouldn't Rich Bikini approve of that move completely? Hey, one of our commentary gurus that's helped us along the way, Bikini would love that move right there. Very good one.
Oh yeah, it was great. Love that. But yeah, again, Amber Saint really loved, but it takes Alex Savage coming out to attack Amber Saint, resulting in a disqualification. That beatdown continues after the bell until Jake Sheehan comes out and makes the save. Something tells me we're going to see an intergender tag team matchup coming up along these lines here at one of the upcoming events, or something along those lines, where we're going to see Amber Saint, Jake Sheehan taking on Will Stone and as well as Alex Savage. I guarantee that's where they're leading to with this one.
Yeah, and they're not shy to do that. They have female talent that can handle the job. I find that their intergender matches look good, look believable. And yeah, I'm totally down to see that in the future. And in the sooner future, we're going to see Jake Sheehan and Alex Savage settle some of their differences. That's skipping ahead just slightly.
Papa Smokes, it got a whole lot brighter up in Ring Respect Radio right here. The divine light has entered the chat. Yes, sir. Thank you for stopping by, James. Great to see you as well, too. We are just talking about your dismissal from the building on this show and how you were told you couldn't be in that main event. We haven't quite got talking to the main event. We know there's some shenanigans that go down yet, too, but appreciate you being here. As always, my friend, we got to have you back on the show very, very soon. Love having you as part of the crew here. But yeah, Papa Smokes, speaking of the intergender matchups that we were just kind of mentioning from this crew, the next matchup that we're going to talk about, it was Frankie Quinn and Spartan taking on the Dynasty, Megan Kate and Vinny Dunn. Funny part here was at the beginning, it gets explained that the men fight the men, the women fight the women in this one, but that lasted all of a couple of minutes into this thing, and we had it going completely different. Frankie Quinn starts taking out everybody in this one, and from there we got David Dunn on commentary being asked, "Is like, are you gonna let this slide?" He's like, whatever, let it slide, kind of thing. If they want to fight, let them fight. And I love that. Again, great decision making, allowing this to go into a full-on intergender tag team matchup. Again, these are top stars. We saw these two ladies tear up the house in the Fans Bring the Weapons matchup there for the championship. And James, though, thank you for continuing to put on awesome work out in the New Zealand for us to review. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate your support here on the channel as well, too. You guys do amazing stuff out there, and happy to do this. But yeah, we saw these ladies make history there again. Megan Kate becoming the first ever 5-time women's champion of IPW. This was a solid matchup, Papa Smokes. One of the strong matchups on the card, in my personal opinion. And what it's leading up to next, an announcement from GM David Dunn that follows it. But first, your thoughts on the match itself.
Oh, this was an awesome match, intergender or not. And I like the point you made about David Dunn saying, well, if they want to mix it up, they can. That's an extremely smart move, is to make it look as though it, or to set the rules as though it's supposed to be man versus man, woman versus woman. But the women in this match don't care. They want to fight the men. They're up to the challenge. That raises them. That makes them look better and look stronger. And they could totally hang with the men in this match. So a quick point about that. Love the way that was set up. But yes, this was really good. This was a match that kind of combined two feuds or two rivalries. We've seen Frankie Quinn and Megan Kate mix it up for that New Zealand ladies title. So those, we already know the history behind these two, and we're looking forward to see them getting together for a fight. And then also Spartan and Vinny Dunn have had their problems. They're also both vying to get towards the top of the card, to get into that championship scene. So we got a match with a couple of little threads of tension and a little bit of a feud going on. So this is cool. And they have obviously worked together before, and a lot of this looked so smooth, so good. Very well laid out match and a very well executed match. Loved this. And Megan Kate is another good heel that does the good crowd work as well. These New Zealand wrestlers really have that as an important thing in their repertoire. And I think it is very important when you're on the indies doing some of the smaller rooms and all that. Those fans don't forget you if you interact with them. And Megan Kate was giving it to people at ringside. Extremely funny, extremely entertaining. And again, it elevates her as a heel. She doesn't just want to be the top ladies heel in this company. She wants to be the top heel. Great attitude. That's awesome. She'll get there with that kind of work ethic.
You bet. And a great booking decision as well, too, in this one, as we get Spartan pinning Vinny Dunn, separating the ladies from the picture entirely in the finish, because up next, we're going to get the big announcement. GM David Dunn coming in to say it's time to make history once again. And this time, that history is coming in the form of a women's steel cage matchup for the IPW Women's Championship. Frankie Quinn and Megan Kate going to step inside the steel cage, Papa Spokes. This one is going to be a badass fight. I can't wait for it.
And this makes sense too, because this is, as we were just saying, this has been a feud and a rivalry between these two ladies for months and maybe even years if you go back into the history of this company. But if we got a five-time champion, we got a more up-and-coming contender in Frankie Quinn. She's hungry, and they've had their problems. They've had match finishes with various shenanigans and some controversy and all that. Then let's do it. Let's put it in a gimmick match, so to speak. Let's put it in a match that settles the score. Let's put the cage up around the ladies. What a good time. What a thrill for them to be in a match like that. And what a thrill for the fans, because a ladies' cage match, feed me more. This sounds good. We got to watch and review this one, Munson.
Oh, 100% we will be, Papa Spokes. Can't wait for that one to be released. Up next, we got, of course, we saw them going at it earlier in the night, Jake Sheehan and Alex Savage. This one in a last man standing matchup, or could you say mostly a 2 versus 1 last man standing matchup with the involvement of Will Stone. Man, Jake Sheehan took a beating, and there was, he kept coming back as the babyface, the resiliency to not stay down for that 10 count. Really sold very well. Many times where it was close, but he's pulling himself back up. That struggle that he has throughout this entire matchup before he starts to be able to lay it in every once in a while, getting some opportunities to, get back at both individuals and knock them out and stuff like that, and then making you believe for a second, okay, he's got this. But then again, the beatdowns happen again, 2 versus 1, time and time again, until finally Amber Stone comes back out to even out those odds, and then it's absolute pandemonium from there. This match was solid, Papa Spokes. Again, some of these gimmicky matchups can get a little bit much at times. I don't feel like it did here. It made a lot of sense. Again, it's a 10 count, so they did take a real shit kicking, and there was a lot of that fighting back from it, just in the nick of time, close calls and everything. But in the end, Jake Sheehan taking a big win, and man, solid positioning on the card, and great way. The fans were just eating this up. They were loving every second of this matchup.
Yeah, and just like we were saying about a specialty match, so to speak, coming up, we've seen Sheehan and Savage have problems with each other over the last couple of cards at least. Again, it might go back further than that, but Savage and Will Stone and their buddies have been absolute violent jerks in this company, complete assholes. Jake Sheehan needs his comeuppance. The last man standing. You know it's going to be a long match. You know it's going to be a violent match. You know that it's going to go out in the crowd. You know there's going to be weapons and interference involved, legal and even encouraged. So, boy, sit down and watch this. This is a nice, long match. And first of all, Sheehan looks pretty okay as a babyface. The fans like him and all that. But I like Alex Savage. Doesn't he look cool? I love his presentation. He's got the kind of salt and pepper hair. He comes out smoking a cigar. He kind of looks like the Wolverine a little bit, or that's who he reminds me of. And he's kind of like some sort of a gang guy that just is there to take care of business and basically put his opponents on ice or whatever, and he'll do anything to do it. I quite like Alex Savage. He's understated as a heel. He doesn't go out and be flamboyant with all his heel moves and stuff like that. It comes from within, and the fans feel it, and they hate it. And throughout this match, just the 2-on-1 attack the whole time. Will Stone not endearing himself with the fans anymore with this performance, because you could feel the fans kind of moving beyond, well, we like jeering these guys and we like disliking them. But this is just stupid after a while. This is just 2-on-1. Like, why doesn't Sheehan have a guy that comes out, or a person that comes out and helps him? You could feel the crowd's frustration in this. You could hear it in their yells. I love this because it means that the booking is working, the match layout and strategy is working. And man, when I hear that frustration from the crowd, you love it. But you can't keep it going for too long. Sheehan was bumping his ass off for this entire match. Woo, he had to be sore after that one, but making it all the way through with the help from Amber coming out. That was a huge pop for the fans. They absolutely loved that part because finally the babyface got some help from another babyface, and then garbage cans and all kinds of stuff. But what a good finish for this kind of match. A really good finish where it was close. Both guys were down, but ultimately Savage unable to make the count. And we all got to cheer with Sheehan as he got his hand raised in victory.
Yeah, well put together, and I couldn't say it better than that, Bob. I suppose you laid it out perfectly. This was great, and in many ways a show stealer. I know the fans love this. They love the rest of the card too, but this was that one that you guarantee they went home talking about a lot afterwards, kind of thing. This great job by these all four that got involved in the matchup and the people that put it together as well too. I think they did a fantastic job. We have got two more matchups as well as a Hall of Fame induction to talk about here coming up. So next up, we've got the New Blood taking on Peter Parr and Jack Maximum. This one here, Perfect Peter Parr, I should say, and Jack Maximum were offered the opportunity by GM David Dunn to have this matchup, kind of a showcase matchup, so to speak. It's like you go in there with the champions, and if you can beat the champions, then you'll be in line for a tag team title shot. But again, this is a polished team in the New Blood. This is the tag team champions. They're not going to just lay down because the titles aren't on the line. They don't want to wreck their reputation. And again, this is going to be tough for Perfect Peter Parr, as well as Jack Maximum in this one. And so it was. Again, great matchup. Good job by these two teams here. I like Parr. I like Maximum. I think they're great. New Blood are an exciting, great babyface tag team. They hold the belts really well. This is a decent tag matchup to go on at this point of the card. We said it before. I could see Parr possibly getting a push at some point in time. He's got a bit of a flair about him. Got a little bit of that charisma, which is really good to see. I think that this situation he's in right now works perfectly for probably where he's at currently in this whole thing, and that from this it'll lead to a trajectory that will push him up further along the lines as he plays this out a little bit further. He's got a character that, again, it's a sly character. It's that sleazy rich boy type character that people absolutely despise, and it works here every single time. The Perfect Peter Parr is taking a shot in that ring. You can hear that crowd enjoying and getting enthused about watching him get punched in the face. I liked it. I thought it was a good matchup.
Same here, and I think you took some of the same things away from this match as I did. I like the New Blood. They look like young guys, and they're smaller guys, but they're all kinds of energy. They got all kinds of good moves and stuff. The New Blood, they have a look and a style that I think will appeal to a lot of young fans and all that. It's good. It's cool having them as champs. I like that. But for me, the star of this match also was Peter Parr. We saw him in one or more of the previous shows from this company that we covered. He caught my eye back then too. Something about him, he's got it. It's not completely polished. It's not completely ready. He's a flower that's just starting to open. It hasn't quite bloomed yet, but it's gonna. And I like him a whole bunch. He's got natural gifts. He's very tall. He looks like he's 6'5" or something like that. He's slim, but he's got a nice athletic build. He looks good. He's got the long hair, and he kind of plays the pretty boy and all that stuff. And slimy with the fans, slimy on the mic, very arrogant and all that. It's a character that's been done millions of times in wrestling, but Parr gets it. He's embraced it, and he does it perfectly. You can also see from the reaction, see and hear the reaction of the fans. Excuse me, the fans in this crowd just hating the sliminess of Peter Parr. So this is the kind of pearl in the oyster in this match, I think, and I'm going to have my eye on him. Jack Maximum, I had something to say about his name, but I'm not going to say it because this is a family podcast, Munson, but He looks all right too. Great big guy. Didn't see everything that I think he was trying to get across in this match and everything, but something to keep an eye on also. But good, solid tag team match. Nothing fancy, nothing to write home about, but a good non-title tag team match where you can make your champs look good, but you can also start to bring forth a new challenger without anybody looking bad for losing this match. You're just building, building. So good. This match did exactly what it was designed to.
Whoa, look at this piece of news, Papa Smokes. New Blood are taking on the Black Light District May 17th for SPW. That will be fantastic.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
That's awesome. Can't wait to review that particular show. That is going to be slick. And of course, our good friend James Shaw, the winner and holder of a certain Fight for Gold briefcase that now puts him in a prime position to maybe add some gold to his repertoire here later this year. So
all right,
we'll be watching out for you, James. See when you're going to sneak that one in on us. Can't wait to see that. Yeah, Bob folks, this has been a great card so far. But up next, before the main event, we have a Hall of Fame induction. Dion McCracken comes out to do the Hall of Fame induction for the deal, Del Knox. I thought, again, I don't know enough about Del Knox, but he comes out and he does a good job of talking about his career as a professional wrestler and, you know, everything that it means to him to be inducted into this Hall of Fame. He gives shout outs to the people who helped him along the way. I popped a little bit when I heard Ost's name get dropped in there as well, too. I thought that was fantastic. Shout out to Ost, who was here at the History of Pro Wrestling with us. This was a nice touch. I always enjoy watching wrestlers get their opportunities to be inducted and recognized for the body of work that they put forward. Some of these guys don't ever get to the big times or anything like that, but just as much they deserve that opportunity to get out there and be recognized to the fans for everything they put on the line throughout their careers.
For sure. And this had me feeling good too, just like we watched a few weeks ago. Chaotic Wrestling from Boston had inducted a couple of people into their Hall of Fame. That was a nice ceremony, and this one was tonight too. And I like the way they do it at a live wrestling event, like during the show, because it's fun to have the exciting matches and everything, but there's a time to be serious too and to pay some reverence to the past. If anyone likes that, it's Papa Smokes. And if I'm not so familiar with the talent tonight, we still got to hear a bunch about this guy's career and a bunch about his legacy throughout wrestling in his own country there. And like you said, if he never made it to the big leagues, that's completely fine. This is his country. This is New Zealand wrestling recognizing him as a historical and legendary figure in their wrestling culture. So what more could you ask for, right? He made a difference in his own community, in his own country, and for the companies and promoters that he worked for and the rest of the boys. By the boys, of course, I mean all the wrestlers. And this is just great. I love to hear it. I love to see the guys make a little speech and maybe get a little teary-eyed thinking back about the past, but that's what's important. And I think that all fans should hear that stuff, including the little kids that came to this show and might be bored at this point or whatever. But no, you listen to some of this because it's important to know about the past as well as the present, as well as the future.
You bet, Papa Smokes. And again, very touching moment. And right before we get to the main part of this whole night, I just want to give a shout out again to IPW New Zealand, IPW NZ on demand over on the YouTube side of things. Go and check them out. The links are directly on Twitch and the YouTube streams here tonight. Go make sure to give our friends over there a subscribe over on YouTube, bringing you free content. As James saying, Del is amazing. He was champion back in 2007 when I started my wrestling journey. He stepped back into the ring now too, which is great. Awesome. I can't wait to be able to see his work again. It was a very nice touching moment. And now that he's going to be stepping back in, awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing what Del brings here upon his return. So that'll be great. Look, this is
Absolutely.
nice touch, and thank you, James, for letting us know as well too.
Yeah, and then imagine getting inducted into the Hall of Fame in New Zealand and then coming back to wrestle. Now you're a Hall of Famer. Yeah, they announce you as that and everything. That's got to be a great feeling.
Oh, 100%. So, yeah, looking forward to that. But I'm looking forward to talking about this one, Papa Smokes. It's the main event of the evening. This match scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
And it is for the New Zealand Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Horace. Again, it's hard for me to remember because of the fact we did so many reviews of Harus. And every time I see the name, I'm like, damn it, my brain wants to go to Harus, but it's Horace, the champion, and he's going to be defending that belt against Sir Mr. Burns of Church and State. That's James's team right there, Church and State. Speaking of that, again, that name, Papa Smokes, it's a difficult one to get past sometimes.
For sure, and exactly as you said, we covered MLW so much, and Horus, as they called them, was managed by Selena De La Renta, and she, every single promo insisted on that pronunciation being right. So we got verbally lambasted by her so many times that I learned my lesson by now. In Spanish, it's Horus, but here it is Horace, and this guy's a big fan favorite in New Zealand.
Yeah, he sure is. Sir Mr. Burns, not as much a fan favorite,
No,
but
no.
I do want to say about this main event, this was probably the most pro wrestling centric matchup of the entire night. This one was the most in the ring wrestle type thing. Of course, like James and Ringo kicking off the night had a lot of that wrestling element too, but this one felt more of that actual catch as catch can grappling style pro wrestling in the main event, which was a nice touch, especially for a championship matchup. And the crowd were eating it up and loving it. As you said, Horace is a very big fan favorite there. Sir Mr. Burns using every dirty tactic in the book that he can possibly think of in order to try to win this championship. Church and State want to do everything to make sure that this championship ends up back with them at some point in time. So we had all sorts of shenanigans going on, Papa Smokes. And despite everything that happened in this matchup, Horace managed to defy those odds and get a pinfall victory and retain the championship. Your thoughts on this main event?
A match quite worthy of the spot that it was in. These two guys could handle the job quite clearly. One thing I found kind of funny at the beginning of the match, Horace was on the ropes, greeting the fans kind of thing, and someone threw something to him. He kind of ignored it at first, and then he got off the ropes, and then he bent down and picked it up and put it in his mouth. And the commentators sold it as they said it was a piece of Halloween candy, but I don't know, Munson. We've called a few matches of wrestlers that used to put a dipper in their lipper. I don't know how you guys say it in New Zealand, but a little bit of tobacco just stuck there and a little dip in your lip there. I swear that's what he was doing, and that was cracking me up, reminding me of some good Canadian indie wrestling. Whether he was doing that or not, I'm not sure, but that had me laughing.
He was trying to get away with having a Papa Smoko in the ring, was he there? But yeah, fantastic between these two guys, and in the end, we find out that we're going to have a multi-man championship matchup coming up after Horace defies the odds. We are going to see Church and State's involvement in the championship picture in a multi-man matchup, and of course, our good friend James Shaw going to be involved there. And if I'm not mistaken, James, and I know this is retroactive right now, but this breaks a record. If you win the championship, if I'm not mistaken, you end up being the most times as the IPW New Zealand heavyweight champion in history. Do I have that correct? I hope I do. If I don't,
I think they said that. Yeah, I think the commentators said that.
Yeah. But yeah, huge moment, great card. Loved every bit of this, Papa Smokes. I love doing the New Zealand wrestling, hands down. These are people that I absolutely love promoting. I love talking about. I like the work that they do. Every single time we talk about New Zealand wrestling and we talk to the people from New Zealand, makes me go, one of these days, my ass is going to retire in New Zealand. I want to be in New Zealand because I think that those are my people. I really like what's going on down there.
I feel the same way. The way some of the people involved in New Zealand pro wrestling have been interactive with us and been nice with us. But above that as well is just it's good, it's quality. I like the team they have down there for across the various companies. There's various similarities and also a lot of similarities in kind of basic company size and basic show sizes as what we do up here. I really feel the kindred spirit from the New Zealanders down there. I would also like to visit New Zealand because every time I watch these matches, I try and learn a little bit more about the country of New Zealand. I looked at a whole bunch of pictures of Auckland and the area around it this time, and damn, it's nice down there, Munson. It's very different than how Canada looks geographically, but I have the feeling it's very similar also because we're both in these kind of isolated climates and everything, and far away from a lot of other countries. But yes, I love it. I would love to continue covering wrestling in this area. It's it's on the other side of the world completely. So some things are a little flip-flopped over, and I just find that so funny. Plus, I like their fans. They remind us a whole lot of the PPW Nation. Very cool, very raucous fans, and great action. I'm totally invested in continuing to cover New Zealand wrestling. I look forward to it.
You bet. James confirming he would be the first ever 5-time IPW New Zealand champion if he were to win that matchup. The current record was held tied between Dal Knox himself, Vinny Dunn, and Kinji, all 4-time champions. Absolutely amazing. Can't wait to watch that matchup coming up. Bass saying this as a side note, if El Assassino ever clocks Bobby with a chair, Bass Jr. will be distraught and he'll be jumping the guardrails at that point. Well, you know what, Bass? Like, we don't need to worry about it. Time and time again, he just keeps walking by me. That by the time he gets all said and done with his career, he'll be referring to me, like you see on the screen, as El Hombre, Bobby Munson.
Are you done? Are you done with this? You're going to start this again?
I'm not. We've only got, well, I mean, we do have 7 minutes. Do you want me to get started?
Nope, not really, because I don't want you to put yourself in this position. I told you last time, I support you as a buddy, Munson, but if you keep making the wrong decisions, what am I supposed to do?
Well, I get it. I absolutely get it. But you know what? I'll defend it at the same time. But yes, again, I won't go on about it for the rest of the show, Papa Smokes. We've had fun. We don't want to ruin that fun because we've had a great time talking about IPW New Zealand, and that's who the star of this show of Ring Respect Radio is. As you mentioned, though, we do have that trip through the territories coming up next Thursday night. We're going to be talking about Smoky Mountain Wrestling right here on the show, so make sure to tune in for that one. And then Thursday following that, Papa Smokes, we are back with Trivia Night here on the channel. It's WTF Do We Know About Wrestling Trivia Night. James, if you're still in the chat, how would you like to appear on our Trivia Night in a couple weeks' time? I think that would be a great time to bring James back to the program here, is to do the wrestling trivia live on screen, Papa Smokes. I think that's the direction we should go. James, if you're available in two weeks from now, Trivia Night, my friend, you are invited. But yes, we are getting to the top of the hour. Again, there is no honor ramble here tonight because, of course, those dirty buggers over at AEW decided to take over the airwaves and put at the Collision, or what is it, their Saturday show? Is it Collision? Yeah, Collision, I believe, is on tonight. So ROH taking a backseat to Friday. So unfortunately, the Honor Ramble going to have to return next Thursday night here for you guys, for anybody that's trying to tune in to that. But you could also enjoy the return of the Mother Tuckin' Post show tomorrow night, Friday night, with Auntie Collins and, of course, Jose Gonzalez here on the channel. But yeah, that's going to be it. Any last words you wanted to say before we get to our farewells here, Pop Smokes, about what we talked about here tonight, or anything in general?
Well, no, not really. We kind of wrapped it up about New Zealand wrestling. Pleased to do this, but also excited for trip through the territories next week. Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And Munson, that ain't no outlaw mud show bullshit. That's real territory wrestling.
I need an LS, Papa Smokes LS, Ren. No, you don't. No, you don't, SPG. No, you don't. Don't wind this up. We're having a good night here, my friend. We're going to leave it on a good night. And even though it cost me a whole lot of money, we're going to make it look good with that beautiful ticker down below where Papa Smokes is going to tell you where you can find him and reach out to him.
All right, you can always find Papa Smokes at Elon Musk's free speech wonderland known as X. I am at smokes_Papa. And then I'm also on Twitch every so often at Papa_Smokes_.
That's where you'll find Papa Smokes. As for myself, Bobby Munson, over on the X, it's real Bobby Munson. Instagram at Threads, Video Bros SK. Over on the Twitch, Video Bro _Bobby Munson. And on Blue Sky, just look up Bobby Munson. You'll find me there. And what have I got coming up? Well, of course, this Sunday, back with the POV crew, talking all things sports from NHL to soccer or football for those who understand what it's supposed to be called, to even talking about upcoming the NFL season right around the corner as well, too. So we got a lot to unpack here this Sunday on Point of View, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You're going to be able to find me right here in a pre-recorded review of the movie Drop as Killer Cuts Chapter 15 with Astrid Pizarro drops right here on the channel. And of course, you can find myself and Papa Smokes every Saturday on Prairie Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel, calling the shots. And yes, this Saturday, Papa Smokes, it's tag team titles on the line, baby. It's the Clandestine Society taking on the Short Kings. That should be a banger of a match. Make sure to go over there and subscribe to Prairie Pro Wrestling and check that matchup out. But as well, all the shows that you see here, you can find over on OLE Podcasts across all social media, as well as YouTube and Twitch. Again, if you've been watching live and you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe. And thank you for keeping our chat active. If you're watching on replay, make sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, leave us a comment, give this video a thumb up. It's very much appreciated. We always love the interaction, what we have with you guys here every Thursday night. So if you haven't been able to catch a show yet, come on into the chat. Don't be shy. Get your voices heard and have some fun with the video bros. But that's going to be it for us this week. We appreciate you all stopping by. And on the way out, we're going to show you the stream calendar for this week at OLE. Take care, everybody.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Fools are calling and I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of future.